So next drum and side control. Jay's laying us back. So we're going to work on our north-south transition, our top Kimura attacks here, which mostly are going to come from being really tight, really low, trying to dig these elbows out. So remember, we keep talking about the idea that Kimura is good friends with the guillotine, the armbar, and the back take. Okay, so we want to get good at seeing those opportunities and seeing where the threats are as we're going in one direction. Because as soon as Jay blocks me one way, I got to be able to juke and go the other way, right? That's as much as I know about football. You got to juke. Yeah. So I'm here. So I got my normal side control. I got a kind of hip control, and this arm's starting to look for an underhook. Now Jay beats me to the underhook. He punches in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this arm behind his shoulder here, nice and deep. My right hand is going to swim behind and check his hip. Okay. So this starts making his underhook kind of weak. Start getting a little bit farther away from his underhook here. So now I'm going to drop my hip into north-south. So I want to go a little bit farther away. If I hang out here, Jay can still start punching into this. Yeah, start punching that underhook a little bit deeper. I want to get to the point where his underhook is just barely touching my armpit. So I'm here. He's got this arm in my hip. Okay, so I'm just going to start rocking my hips to find the slot. Normally the slot's going to be right here. I'm going to take my hip and drag it right into this this corner in his shoulder, right between his chin and his neck. So I'm going to go point, boom, drop into this. So I'm starting to come low. Okay, now right away, Jay's thinking he's going to start turning towards me a little bit. So I'm going to start digging underneath here for the Kimura. Okay? So as soon as Jay feels me go underneath here for the Kimura, he goes flat, really flat. He pulls his elbow down. So as soon as Jay does that, I use my ribs to turn his chin. I'm going to start sinking low. Okay, keep everything nice and low here. Underneath his head, hug his head nice and tight. I'm trying to keep my bicep next to his neck. Now remember, as I scoot low here, I'm keeping my legs nice and wide. Okay, I'm not doing the pencil. I want to do the prom date. Okay, I'm here. So when I'm here, don't tell your parents I talked about that. So when I'm here, I'm going to use my ribs to keep Jay's chin turned away. As soon as his chin turns towards me, I'm going to start losing this guillotine. So every time I scoot low, I bump into his chin, just to keep him low. I get here, and I'm going to pull his arm out, punch this wrist low, keep my head nice and tight, grab and sink. Now, very last finish on this guillotine, I'm going to walk. Are you okay, Jay? Okay. I'm going to walk towards his head. So I'm going to start squeezing and just click it here. Get my tap. So as soon as I get that tap, I'm going to start coming back up. Get this arm back inside. Start digging underneath this elbow here. Now I turn Jay. Get my Kimura. So now from this Kimura, Jay's going to keep his elbow folded down nice and tight to my ribs. So take my wrist and just nice and loose. Just get a little bit of a grip on his wrist here. I'm going to step back and swing my arm at the same time. Here. Get nice and low. Get my chin on his shoulder. Hit his head. Nice and low. So I got Jay's head on my shoulder like a pillow. I'm controlling his wrist here. Now I'm going to drive straight forward. So look how Jay's flat. He's on his side. I got him flat here, so we're kind of just like hanging out watching the movie. You know what I mean? Let's go here. Now let's just drive in. Set my hook. Boom. Okay? Now what Jay's going to do, I'm going to go to I'm going to hang on to this grip. Now Jay's going to reach down and pop my hook off. He's going to pop this hook off. He's going to start shrimping out. I'm just going to circle away. Come back to this position. Drive. Reset. Okay? From the top. I know it feels like a lot to remember, so if you can't remember it now, how are you going to remember when you're doing it, right? You guys can start. This is why we're drilling it, so you can pick up the pieces. He goes underhook, boom, I switch. Drop my hip. I'm being a jerk with my ribs. And I start immediately digging underneath here for this Kimura. So Jay turns away from me a little bit to hide that elbow. That's when I think, I got his neck. I'm going to start sinking low, drive my ribs into his head every time. Come underneath here, hug his head, scoot, scoot. I'm pushing his hip, keep his hip from following me. Now I'm pretty sure I got this guillotine and pull my arm out. I push his elbow through his hip. Get my ear on his shoulder, I'm nice and low. Grab. Legs nice and wide. I start flexing my bicep, driving my shoulder into his neck, and I just walk through his head just a little bit. Get my tap. Now I'm going to unwind everything. I drive my head back onto his chest, put this arm back in. Now Jay starts turning into me. Dig underneath. Hop into my Kimura. Okay, Jay folds his elbow down. Wrist. Hit the head. Get Jay flat. Put his head on my shoulder like a pillow. Walk straight ahead. Hook. Boom. Jay takes the hook out. As soon as that hook goes out, I start running away. Here, okay? Now I can drive in. Hook. Back to my position, okay?
Yes, sir.
Little note on that north-south guillotine. So whenever you get in that guillotine, a lot of people have trouble, they have a hard time just figuring out when they have it, right? They have a hard time going, is it tight, is it not? Because it's a weird field position. So think about where your shoulder is in relation to your wrist. So when I'm here, see how my shoulder's really far away from my wrist? When I start sinking back, I'm getting my shoulder over top of my wrist, so I can drive it right down into his neck. So start trying to feel where your shoulder is in relation to your hand. Once you're right over top, that's when you know you got it. Okay? Cool? Yeah? You guys remember that? One do the shot.